Welcome to this video series on a month of mindfulness, a series of short monotangles in black and white with the emphasis on here and now with a pen. Today's tangle is a lovely organic tangle which can travel in different directions as if like seaweed. It's the tangle called Lunarflux by Debbie New. I know that it didn't get its name by the way that I found it, but I like to think that when a name suits a tangle, it can come round to its name from a different root. And the lunar has the letters U-N-A-R, or put in another way, A-U-R-A, as in aura, and it definitely uses it here, but with the N included. So the way that we're going to draw it today is we're going to draw it as if it's heading round. So just draw somewhere on your tile or in the middle of the section a little orb that we can use to travel round. And then just a little bit further away from this orb, we're going to draw a little flux. So a little flux leaf would normally look like this. So we're just going to draw our little flux leaf heading out, and I'm going to give it a couple of others, but just a little bit further away from each other so that they're not joined up. And from our center orb, I'm going to take a line and we're going to aura. Take our line beside our Lunarflux, but when we come to the top of it, add your little N shape, a little bobble hat, so to speak, on the top of your flux leaves. Maybe they're a little bit like me wearing a bobble hat, because it's a bit chilly here. And then I'm going to do the same thing again and draw these fluxes floating out beside each other but not touching. And take my lunar aura line and head out to join the next one. Each time auraing with a little bobble hat those flux shapes. I think you can begin to see where I'm going with this one, and hopefully you're following along too. With little bobble hats on top of your auras, on top of your flux leaves. If you're not confident about just drawing flux leaves out in the open and then auraing round, you can instead give yourself a few more strings if it helps. And so from your center orb, you might just throw an idea of where those strings would head out, so that on the end of your string you can do your little flux leaves together and trace that string line for your aura. Enjoy adding your little bobble hats onto your stems. And how we'll do a bit of shading, I'm actually just going to absorb my initial string line here and just pop the graphite into that space in the middle. Then use my tortillon to gently pull it down the stems of my Lunarflux. I've done mine in groups of 3. You don't have to if you've only got room for 1 or 2 of those reflux leaves in the space. That's absolutely fine. And if you want to practice in a little bit of drawing behind, there's nothing to stop you adding a few extra elements. And tuck them in as single elements too. You might need to practice a little bit of drawing behind. Just because you finish, you do some shading and then you want to come back and add a few more details with your pen, remember you don't have to do everything in order. If the order that you found works for you is different on this occasion, feel free to do that too. Sometimes you want to add little extra orbs or trinkets or dashes or lines after you've popped down your shading, and that's fine too. Just make sure that every little stroke is a deliberate stroke and pointing you in the direction to complete your tile. I need to keep a nice fine point on my tortillon with this one. I might just take one of these lines and just spiral it in to complete that flurry of Lunarflux. And once I've decided, add your chop and admire. So perhaps yours doesn't flow out to the sides and everything just goes in a blossom-like fashion, or perhaps you've just gone really small and just got some coming from a corner with extra little bubbles on the stem. However you've done yours, I hope you've had fun on this little mindful organic tangle. Always remember to keep your focus on your deliberate aura and its cute little deliberate bubble hats.